Welcome back, everybody, to this edition of Galactic Reviews. This time we are talking about the newly released Black Phone 2, just ahead of Halloween and a couple years after Black Phone 1. Now Hiccup Finney is all grown up, um, and the grabber is back and he's grabbing again. I thought that was good. Watching the trailers initially, I was worried because it seemed like kind of the classic thing where the first movie's really good. They go, all right, let's make a second one. We have to go bigger, and then they just make it too ridiculous, and change that, or just like make it more than it was originally supposed to be when the first story would have just been fantastic on its own. The trailer scared me it was going to do that. And at times, this movie did indeed do that. It did get a little ridiculous, with the girl flying through the air, just small little things where I'm like, all right. The first one was about a psycho that just kidnapped people, and the ghost of the kids he killed before were helping this guy escape. And now it's like he's back from hell. Duh, duh, duh. So I was like, all right, a little much, but I liked how they did it. They could have gone way more into the deep end, but they didn't, and I liked it. And I liked that it incorporated the sister more. I remember, I think Stephen King, before this movie came out, and Stephen King got to watch it, and he was like, it's better than the first one. And I was like, oh boy. I
Oh
don't think
wow.
it's better than the first one. I think the first one is just a solid movie. So I think I'd have to give this one a six, even though I enjoyed it and I liked it, just not as much as I liked the first one.
Okay.
It just did a little too much, which I was expecting it to do.
I'll go next and I'll just agree with you with that. It did a little bit too much. It went more into the kind of horror side of it instead of psychological. Well, it was still psychological, but went into more of the slasher kind of side instead of the first one where it was just purely like psychological thriller. Honestly, very surprised that I enjoyed it. The first one was phenomenal. I would give that one like a 9 out of 10. And this is like a 7.5, close to 8, for me. The only thing I 100% say I didn't really care for was it felt, for me at least, like it was a Freddy Krueger film,
Oh,
to be
Nightmare
Friday
on
the
honest.
Elm Street.
13th?
Thank you. Nightmare on Elm Street. No, Friday the 13th is sleeping.
Jason,
Not
right?
yes, Jason. Nightmare on Elm Street. Thank you. It felt like that for me for a lot of it, which I didn't really care for, but and then the only other complaint I had, so many of these characters would have died from hypothermia.
Yeah,
I think about half of them should have been dead from just hypothermia alone.
yeah.
Um, but other than that, um, it was a good movie. I liked how it kind of tied itself together and ended, hopefully, a storyline. There was closure with the whole family.
No, he'll be back again.
I I kind of don't want them to be back, but I wouldn't be upset about it because I'm interested in, unless they go in and start like a business and they do this as a business, which would be weird, but that is the only other way I can see this working out for a third movie or something to that extent.
Yeah,
Um,
turns into Ghostbusters.
Pretty much, pretty much. The premise and the idea was good. I enjoyed it. The closure was good. Yeah, I don't, for a psychological thriller, not as good as the first one, but still a good movie.
I liked kind of Finney's character arc, how like you saw him like the effects of his kidnapping, just
Hmm.
see him grow darker. You see how he has grown just darker and angry.
Well, you can, yes, darker, angry, and he kind of took the, I don't want to say took the personality, but took the advice to heart of his friend from the first one that was kidnapped, the one right before him, and just kind of took that and just tried to cope his own way with it.
He was trying to replace Robin.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, even in the beginning of the movie where he was like, "Oh no, you like the more blood the better. It's for the crowd."
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that's the exact
It
line that
is. I
Robin said.
watched.
It
Actually
is,
watched
yeah.
the movies back to back, and it is the exact same thing he said.
Um,
So yeah, he was trying to cover up Cope using his friend as his crutch. Mason, what about you?
Oh, that was it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, all good. What was I know you guys mentioned briefly, but what was the things that you guys were saying were too over the top? Like you guys mentioned like the flying a little bit. Um,
I mean, it's to over the top in the way that the first movie wasn't like this at all. It was dreams and
Did
visions
you
that were
watch the
dropping
first movie?
clues.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, just, it was
Okay.
like dropping clues with foresight
Yeah,
and
it was just foresight, and
talking,
this
but
one was like possession to the extent, pretty much.
okay,
Which was a lot, I think more, it was over the top in that extent. I was not expecting it to be like the Nightmare on Elm Street, just dream walking and just dying in the dreams. That's what I wasn't expecting. I was expecting, yes, it was cool to see this character come back to haunt his sister and him in this whole way, but the fact he was able to affect the physical world through it was very weird with that.
yeah,
At least for me, especially since the whole first movie, it's he's just on the phone with these children and they're helping guide him to escape.
yeah, it made it more supernatural than
Yeah,
it
it
originally
didn't really
was.
need to be that supernatural.
okay, okay. Yeah, I can agree with those. I'll probably give this movie like a 7 out of 10. I like Finn's character arc. It makes sense with him kind of just like you said, coping. Getting more so getting over living with his survivor's guilt, kind of that he had just not only with him surviving the grabber, but like talking with all the victims along the way and
Yep.
them kind of being the reason for why or how he escaped and everything. The sister got more of a spotlight. I know you guys talked about that, but um, in the first film, it felt like kind of like maybe like a 60-40. This one felt more like a 70-30, like more went to her than it did, and less of him than it did kind of in comparison to
In the
what was in
first
the
one.
first film. Yeah.
Yeah, which in this way I kind of enjoyed because the first film was about him and how what his clairvoyancy, would that be the correct word for it?
I guess the site.
I
I don't
guess.
know.
Um, how he was, what his was, and how he was able to use it. In this one, we got to see more of the sister and how she was able to use it. However, I
We kind of
still
got
don't.
that in the first film, though.
Yes, but this one was much farther over the edge and a little unnecessary to an extent
Yeah. That's the part I
of
don't
it.
really care that much for. Like her
Yes,
abilities went to the extreme. I don't want to say unbelief because the whole thing is kind of unbelief, but like it went so far that kind of like you guys said with Freddy Krueger stuff, but that was more so the villain than actually no, she did it too with the
Yeah,
barrels
when
at
she
the
just
end.
like
yeah,
walked in
she
and
did.
exploded the phone booth, I was like, all right.
Yeah. And
As
it's
soon as, well, the thing was, as soon as he said you can fight back, I'm like, it's going to happen. It's foreshadowing
I
the
yeah.
thought she
whole
was gonna start
thing.
flying for a sec.
I thought he was just gonna haunt him and kind of make her go mad, like they kind of showed at the
That's what I
beginning,
thought.
and then it
That's what I
took like
thought.
a hard turn to where like, oh yeah, he's gonna like hurt her physically. And I
He
was
can
like, that kind of
physically kill anyone he wants to
then why
at
toy?
any time.
Like
Well, that
that
was the whole thing of the first movie. He enjoyed toying with them.
I know, but at the same point, like this one's he knows that she can be as powerful as him since she
I
can
still
go.
enjoyed it more than I expected to, despite that.
Yes. So did I. So did I. It
I kind
that
of wish
was
this was like its own movie. not part of
A
Black Phone.
sequel?
Just yeah,
Yes.
just
If
its
it was its
own.
own thing and didn't
Mm,
have something prior to it, then the complaints we're putting up for it would be fine. They wouldn't need
Yeah.
to be there,
the
and it would be
structure would have
perfectly
to
fine.
change a lot with a lot of the
Yeah,
ways.
they'd have to do some kind
Some
of
of it,
intro.
yes, they would. Yes, that is true. But if it was made as a standalone movie instead of having already a foundation and they just amped up all of the abilities, well, amped up at least the sister's abilities, to a 10, then everything we're complaining about would be irrelevant.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
would be a phenomenal movie. But since it's already has a foundation, then I mean, yeah.
I
Yeah.
loved the ambiance. The way they filmed it was, I mean, even though the dream sequences, there's a lot of them, just the sound design and the
The
camera and
sound,
the
I was
editing.
about to say I really enjoyed how you could tell the difference between when she was asleep and when she was awake.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No, they did a good job with that.
It
Yeah.
Yeah.
where they did so well with the cinematography for this. The acting was phenomenal as well. The writing was good. There was a lot of good things about this movie that I enjoyed. It was just, I think they went a little too far in that one aspect. Other than that, this was a wonderful movie.
I will say, well, I'll disagree with you on the writing, but only for one scene. Actually, no, two scenes. For one of them, when Finn, the dad, and her are all, well, she's kind of just letting everything out, and then Finn goes to let everything out of what he's going through. Sh there's no talk back at all. She just like all of a sudden does like it didn't seem at all that natural
I
Yeah,
can agree with
I
that,
because it
but at
seemed
the
more
same
like they
time,
wrote it
you
where
have
like
to,
she
yeah,
was.
you have to
It
remember
didn't seem at all natural.
this family is so mentally messed up.
I get that, but the way
No,
that
I
they
do agree.
it
I do agree though. Yes,
that
that is a
writing
fair
did not
point.
mesh well at all. And I
That
get
is a
what they
fair
were
point.
going for, like kind of like unite the family, but it was not written well for that. There should
I
have been some
It
back
could
and
have
forth between all three of them instead of just her yelling at the two of them and them just taking it. Like there should have been some back and forth
there to an extent there was, but it should have ended more
briefly. And even
like
then, it was only
yes,
with
it should
Finn.
have
It was just
if so,
briefly.
yes. If so, there should have been more of like a family bonding there. Like at the end of it, they just hug, cry it out, something, instead of just like they go their separate ways. Well, not go there, but go back to work, business as usual. Um, I think that would have made that scene a little bit more knitted together.
Yeah.
But yes, no, I do agree with that.
And
That could have been done a little bit better.
the other scene was when she's crying in the phone booth. The next camera angle for that scene,
Yeah, she's done.
she
It's
is
gone.
like, it's gone,
Yeah.
it's gone. And I was like, that's not how somebody would automatically react. And also the whole thing about Finn is that he can talk to dead people through the phone. She can literally see dead people
Well,
in
the
in
thing
her
is,
dreams with
it was
clairvoyance.
also shown in the first movie that he could see them as long as he was on the phone.
I don't know if he could see him.
I don't think
I
No,
he could
don't
see
think he
them.
could see him.
I
I think
watched
it
the
just
first
showed,
movie
yeah, yeah, I
and
think it just showed the viewer
well, no,
where they
because
were.
at one specific scene, the phone had rang, it hung up. He turns around, one of the kids is
Oh yeah, you're right, you're right
suspended.
where
He
yeah,
points
yeah.
to the phone and then it goes off and he picks up and answers the phone.
You're
He
right.
could see them
You're right.
while
Yep.
he was on the phone with them, but not in this movie. He did not see anything. I think if he
Yeah.
could have seen them, that could have been much more emotional for his character. At
Yeah.
least when they were surrounded the phone booth and everything, that would have been so much more interesting,
Yeah, no,
especially when
that would have been
it was
better.
with the grabber as well.
Yeah.
Um, that's one
Um
thing I think they missed out on. Was especially when the scene with the grabber when he was in the phone booth with the grabber.
yeah.
Um,
And he's
I
like
think
looking
that would
right
have
at him and
been
yelling at him and all that
yeah,
stuff.
that would have
Yeah.
been so much more terrifying for his character, I
Well, also
think.
that, and it would have been good to see him like face the grabber and have all that anger, and then all of a sudden realize like Gwen is in trouble.
Yes.
and just see that terror come to his face. That would have been a different scene playing out.
Yes.
But
That was a missed opportunity they could have done.
yeah.
But
But what I
that's
will
fine.
say is I didn't really care that much at the end of the scene where I get it was for closure for Gwen's character, but they did
Oh, with
it
the
it,
phone
it
call
felt
for her
yeah,
mother.
yeah. It felt like it took away from what Finn could do and just added it to like, oh yeah, she can also do this, but so it's not like just him that can talk to
Yeah,
people on phones.
that was kind of disappointing. I would have expected they would have both heard the phone and they would have both spoken to her. That would have been a good finale for both of their characters for that.
Yeah.
Since prior to that, the only time she's heard the phone was in the dreams.
Yeah. Well, that and even then that was only in this film.
Yes.
So
Um,
um I just don't like that. Like it kind of takes away from his
that is true.
and kind of adds it to hers as well.
However, I know deviating temporarily from this movie, going back to the first movie, the ending of the movie where Finn is killing the grabber and the phone rings in the middle of him choking him out, and he's
Yeah.
like, "It's for you." That is probably one of the most badass scenes
Yeah. Well, I
from
mean, it
this
also
to
said
these two
like,
movies.
yeah. I mean, I think they
I was like, that
established in
was
the
good.
beginning of the first film that the grabber could also hear the phone, but he hasn't heard it in a long time.
Um, it was never really specified because all he said was it doesn't work. So I'm not really sure, or he said it hasn't worked for years. It never really says,
Well, I
or
thought it was the dead
like,
kids that said that. I thought it was one of the dead kids that said that.
no, I don't believe so. Um,
That could be just misremembering.
or it could be, I would have to watch it again, because I just watched both of them and I do not remember that, being said, but I
I,
could have missed it while I was eating dinner or
I
whatever.
remember it being said, I just don't remember who said it.
That's fair.
And it
It was
sounds like
probably
Andrew
if
remembers that being
anything,
said.
it
He
would have
nodded,
been.
but
Oh, okay. I was about to say, if anything, it must have been like the very first kid he spoke to. Um, and I just missed it, which is possible.
yeah, I don't know, maybe.
Um,
If you do look it up, apparently Finn cannot see the ghosts, but I don't know how that reconciles with what the scene you mentioned.
Yeah, because I remember that scene being there. So
yeah,
I think that might have been just because he was ignoring the phone during that one part, and they were just
it
like, "You
could
gotta
have
go,
been.
you gotta go to the phone,"
It could have been because the rest of the time, like the ghost would appear and
and he
walk
doesn't
around him
see
when he's
him,
on the phone.
but
He doesn't
except
see
that
it,
one
but that
instance.
one time.
Yeah,
And it was like for a split second, he blinked and it was gone. So that's the only time it happened. That's why I thought he could potentially see them or see
yeah.
like a shadow or something. Um, but I mean, if they say it in like when you looked it up, Andrew, then I guess he can't.
But
Um,
that was the Google AI. I don't know
that's fair.
how
That's fair.
where it's gotten that from. I
Um,
didn't see like a director's interview.
okay.
I also just now thought about this, but the grabber went down in the ocean and or the lake and froze.
Mhm.
She was down there for a good bit, didn't freeze over.
She was using her powers to stay warm. I liked how she jumped in. Her like physical body instantly just got soaked.
Yeah, but like she was dry, like right afterwards, like,
Oh,
and she would have been
100%.
out. Like
100%.
it didn't make any sense either.
It was really funny in a lot of the scenes, especially when she got injured in the phone booth and he just pulled the cord and she spun and all the blood just sprayed everywhere as she flew across the room.
But
I
yet
couldn't
nothing
help but
was on her neck
laughing.
at all.
Yeah, same.
I couldn't
That
help
specific
but
one, I
No
was like,
laughing.
marking were on her neck, but that was where the cord was, and
Well,
that it spun.
the thing was, she was stabbed in the back because he broke the glass, pulled her over the bar where the shattered glass was. So it would have stabbed her in the back, the
Mm.
shards of
Well,
glass.
that was just
So
I didn't
that's what
get
I would,
that. That didn't come across
that's,
that way to me. I thought it was the cord.
it could, well, she was also, gassed in the shoulder or arm as well. So it could have been from the axe. So it could have been from that.
Could
It's
be,
not
but
really
that was
specified because
mostly
the only injury they covered was the one on the arm.
yeah.
And if so, how did all the blood go everywheres on the upper half of the body?
I don't know. Like some of it just didn't make sense. Like I get what they were
I
going
mean,
for.
yes, those
So
scenes didn't make sense.
yeah,
And pretty much they were all like the dream sequence scenes. Then
for
again,
the most
I
part.
they just went over the top on that, and I think that was their biggest thing. They just didn't need to do. They could have dialed it back a little bit.
Yeah,
Yes, to an extent it was cool, but like the ice skating scene at the end, and he's just slowly, hacking up people, kind of. It just if he can just go around and kill them, why didn't he just do that?
yeah.
Like there's a lot of that's the biggest thing that doesn't make
That's
sense to
probably the
me.
biggest flaw is that he can
Um,
actually like hurt
Mess with the
people.
physical world. If it
Yeah.
was only those two characters, the brother and the sister, Finn and Gwen, that would have been fine.
Well,
Or like the
yeah, because he
area
could be
around
somewhat
him, like
explained
the
because of
ice
how they.
breaking the ice and messing with the world out, but not the people in it. That would have made sense and that would have been fine.
Yeah.
But it was the fact of he was able to hit and mess with everyone else.
Also, where'd he get the axe from? Like, did it just come with? Like, was he
Well,
buried with it? Did he just come with?
I mean, he always had the axe.
Yeah,
I
but like,
mean, in the
where
first
did
movie,
the
it was
like
the end. The
when he's
premise is,
buried? Did
to
he?
my knowledge, the axe is what he used to kill everyone, pretty much.
Yes, but when he's
That
like,
was his go-to weapon.
yes,
So
I get that,
that's
but
what
like,
he was
what?
attached to. I
But
don't know.
like, when he's buried, like, why does he get his full regalia when he comes back?
Why were the bodies decomposed in ice? I have no idea.
I'm just saying, like, when the dead people show up, they show up like how they died. He was snapped in the neck. So would his like head not be flopping around the whole time? Like him trying to like talk? That'd have been funny. But like,
That would have that would have been funny.
why does he get the axe? Unless he got it from his brother, his dead body when he was
I
leaving
I
the
do not
house.
have an answer. I do not have an answer for that
Like
one.
I don't get why he's got the weapon. And where'd he get the skates from? Like, can he just
From the
manifest
ice.
whatever he wants?
Yeah,
I tweaked. I went and I found the scene. He absolutely can see that the one floating. He
that's what I thought.
absolutely like
Okay.
looks at it, which is weird because all of the other ghosts where he's on the phone.
Yeah, he did not. But yeah, no, the brother took a sideline for this one. It was kind of disappointing to an extent, but at the same time, I'm okay with it since the sister was kind of the sideline character for the first movie.
Okay. Yeah, I
So
got
it's
it.
kind of nice to have the spotlight for both of them.
Yeah.
Um, was not expecting a sequel though from the first movie at all.
No, but I don't expect a sequel from this one because they closed
Yeah.
off any other things they could do
See,
with
you
the
say that, but
grabber,
I would have said
period.
the exact same after the first one.
Yeah, yeah.
There was still like some wiggle room and they kind of somewhat
Yeah.
explained it, but I mean this one, that's it. Like it kind of just like, yeah, this is finished. So because like everybody that he killed was buried
Yeah,
properly, so now he no longer can have power. So
theoretically.
yeah. But the third film will probably
Which
come out and be like, "Oh
honestly,
yeah, by the way,
when it came, yeah,
after he went to the camp, you know, he did some spelunking in the mountains and killed a whole bunch of indigenous people." And then all of a sudden, or like something along those lines. Like,
I I see where you're coming from, but that's weird.
no, it
Um,
is. I'm not saying it isn't, but I'm just saying like that would be how it would
yeah.
be something
Which
that ridiculous would
I
be
will
how it
admit,
comes back.
something I was expecting from the movie at one point at the end where Finn was being choked out and then he was actually physically able to touch the grabber to kick him off. Um,
Could
I
they
was
have shot him?
expecting what?
Could they have shot him? They can touch him. Can
Potentially.
they shoot him?
Potentially. I mean, she chopped off his leg, so who
I
knows?
mean, Finn
Um,
But
was
that
bashing his
I know
invisible
that's
yeah.
what I'm
head.
saying. Like,
What I was
what are the
expecting
limits here?
was yeah, what I was expecting was some of the kids from the first Black Phone that helped him to show up to like pull him off or something. That would have been interesting because he was his younger brother for I forget which kid it was. Um,
Robin.
Robin, yes. Um, the younger brother, I forget the name of his younger brother in this movie. I just went
Brendan, right?
blank. It starts
I don't
with an
know.
E, I think. I don't
Oh,
remember.
I have no
Anyways,
idea
he
Ernie,
either.
said, okay,
What?
he said,
What was it?
he's guarding
Ernie,
you, Ernie.
Ernie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ernesto.
Um, Ernesto, yeah. He said he is guarding you instead of me.
When?
So I was expecting like
No,
his
that was
spirit.
just him. That was just him saying that. Like he doesn't
Well,
know.
yes, but at the same time, I was expecting at least one of them to show up to
Nah, they
help.
went to heaven without calling it heaven.
Yeah, they had closure.
They tried their best not to. I like how with all the religion and stuff that they had in this film that they tried their best not to put any religious stuff in it. That was
Mm,
that was
Yeah.
somewhat deliberate.
Yeah.
They definitely tutored that line, but they did it well enough that it wasn't, overbearing and down your throat,
Yeah.
except for that one woman, Brenda or whatever her
Barbara.
name was, Barbara. Uh, she was interesting.
I didn't like that whole conversation at the beginning. Like I get it was supposed to set a tone for like how those two characters were going to interact with each other, but that took a very bad turn
Very quickly.
very quickly when it probably shouldn't have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like that should have maybe been done with time, not like right away.
But look, yes. Um, after she saw her floating in the middle of the room being thrown across the wall, I would have said 100%. I would have 100% said demon child. Um,
I
but
also would say that. Demon child.
but before that, it
Andrew
it
would have
was
performed the
a bit
exorcism. He would
forced.
have.
Yeah, no, I think
It
I think the writing for that scene was a little off as well. It
Yeah.
always seemed like the writing for the sister was the one that was the most off. They couldn't like decide who they wanted her to be.
which yeah, how far to go, how far they didn't want to go,
Yeah.
but everything else was good.
Yeah. I think I'd give the first film probably either somewhere in between eight and a nine. This film probably leaning more towards in between a six and a seven, more towards the six now after all the stuff we've been talking about. So
Fair, fair. I mean, still both good psychological
yeah, well, it's not a bad
thrillers.
sequel. It's just some of the stuff just wasn't done well. That's just a shame. But
Could have toned it back a little bit and it would have done just as well,
yeah,
if not better. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Galactic Reviews. If you liked it, let us know. Give us a comment to see what movies we should watch next. We'll take any inputs,
we're that
just about
desperate.
any inputs. Yes, well, maybe not much, but join us for the next video when we'll be going over the new Tron Ares movie.